unlock this door with the key of imagination.
Years, but never really had the opportunity to meet him. All I knew was he was the president of Williams during some glory years in the 80s, and later on with Capcom. I think we're all very anxious to learn more about him, and I'm pleased to introduce our guest speaker tonight, Michael Stroll. Michael?
Hi. I'm doing great. How are you? It's good to be here, and it's good to be here in front of a group of very passionate people for a technology and a concept that has survived for all the years that it's survived. When I spoke with Rob a year ago and he asked me if I would be interested in doing this year, I wasn't sure what I would be able to talk about that you don't already know. The story of pinball is something that you have lived, you have a passion for, and you probably know more about the individual companies than the people who actually work in the individual companies. So I actually prepared some things to talk to you about, and I'm going to toss them because I really think that the warmth and breadth of what goes on here deserves something more than that. And I want to start off by saying, when Rob sent me the package, I read it, and I went down and saw what was happening tonight, and it says, let me read it. Banquet, 8 p.m., Lake Michigan Ballroom, dress up as your favorite pinball machine contest. Guest speaker, Michael Stroll. All of you who are dressed as your favorite pinball, please stand up. Wait, there's one more. And I'm dressed as my favorite pinball. I don't share a passion with him, but we all share a passion. And the passion is pinball. We've all gone on to do a lot of other things in our lives, but pinball is something that gets in your body, gets in your soul, and you carry it with you as you go through life. My passion started when I was this big. I was anxious for my parents to finally give me an allowance, and finally convinced them that the allowance was a good idea, and they gave me, for my very first allowance, a shiny, new 50-cent piece. I thanked them, told them I would be responsible because they demanded it of me, and that I was not going to put it in things that would be frivolous. I left the house, ran 2 blocks to the local candy store, cashed in my shiny new 50-cent piece for 5 nickels and a quarter. About 20 minutes later, I got another 5 nickels, and those disappeared in a pinball machine. And I had a wonderful time until I got home. And that passion truly stayed with me in games of all sorts. When I went to undergraduate school for EE, electrical engineering, I played with the concept of doing games. When I did my graduate work at Stanford, I did the same things, concepts of playing games. At National Semiconductor, I ran the microprocessor systems group, and we were looking for new products. And the product that I thought made a great deal of sense, that fed into my desire to play games, was to do a system for electronic pinball machine. And I came to Chicago with that in mind. After having spoken with two people out on the West Coast, Sam Stern, Gary's dad, and Bert Siegel. And they fed me a lot of information about the industry. Sam had retired from Williams Electronics just prior to that, and Bert Siegel was still doing his thing in Europe. And I came to Chicago with a few marketing people, and we put on presentations for the then old Chicago coin, which was virtually out of business at that point. Midway, Valley, and Gottlieb. And the last place we went was to Williams Electronics. And during the presentation, the chairman of the board of the parent company, Lou Castro, was there. And he and I had a conversation after the presentation. And he said to me that he was looking for a president for Williams Electronics. This was about a year and a half after Sam had retired. And he had been interviewing several people. He asked me if I knew anybody that would be interested in the job. I said, yeah. He said, who? I said, me. He said, you're a cock knocker. I still don't know what that means. But 5 months later, I became the vice president of corporate technology at the parent company, Seaberg. During my vice president at Seaberg, I had the main responsibility, really the only responsibility I had, was to head up a group to do an electronic pinball system. So I moved my office to the old Seaberg building, down in the bowels of the old Seaberg building, and went on a search for some people. And I found David Poole. David Poole and I found Ron Krause and Ken Fidesna. One of the mainstays of Williams Electronics during that time that provided us information, love, and support, one of the few people at Williams to do that, was the gentleman of the industry who is my friend and my longtime associate, Steve Kordak. Steve is here tonight. Steve was the head designer at Williams, and he had two young people that he was grooming, Barry Hausler and Tony Kramer. Tony, unfortunately, through a real tragedy, is no longer with us. But we decided, Steve and I, that